Yeah, if you looked up the word schooling in a dictionary, you would probably see a photo of that game there. Pretty disappointing. The scoreline kind of talks for itself. Celtic nil, Bayer Leverkusen 4 somehow. Men against boys. A lot of people might think that way. I thought Celtic played relatively well for parts of that game, but it's another pretty bad result for Ange's team. We've got Euan as well. Euan, what was your thoughts from home?
That was such a weird one to analyse. Watching from home, there were some really good phases of play for us, and we should have been up a couple by 10, 15 minutes in. But it's just basic schoolyard stuff. We don't seem to be able to create these opportunities for ourselves where we can force mistakes of opposition, but opposition can do exactly that with us, and it just costs us every single time. Really a really difficult watch tonight for sure. I mean, Bayer Leverkusen are a very, very good team. There's no getting around that. But yeah, that got pretty grim towards the end, didn't it?
We had chances in the game. I think I don't know how many minutes were gone when Kyogo had that really, really good chance. At Leverkusen actually had the ball in the net after probably about 90 seconds.
Right.
Then we have that really good chance with Kyogo. The stadium, which was already rocking before the game, would have gone completely nuts had that gone in. Still not quite sure how it didn't go in. Probably really good defending, but Kyogo probably has to score. He has another chance after probably roughly 25, 30 minutes when he's sent through. And again, he probably has to score. He has another one after half time, which is an unbelievable save from the goalkeeper on first viewing, right probably 30, 60 seconds into the second half. We did have chances tonight. We played decent football. But once again, you were just beaten by a team that were really clinical, a team that knew how to defend, a team that looked like a team that had one thing on their mind tonight, and that was winning the game. I felt like we looked like a team that were what they are, to be honest, a team that are very much, at the beginning phase. Do you think we just have to take results like tonight, Euan, without sounding like Tony Mowbray, on the chin? Is it just a night to almost look at what we could be in the future and just to take our medicine tonight? We were beaten by a very good side. There's definitely disappointing aspects of tonight. We lost 4-0 at home. I'm not going to try and, paint a really positive picture. But is this just the confirmation that we needed, that this is a Celtic team that is so far away from being where we all want them to be?
Oh yeah, we're miles off it. Miles off it. I think if anything, given the draw we got against AZ Alkmaar, I was a bit surprised that we got into this competition anyway. I think a lot of folk probably would have taken a conference just given the extent of the rebuild, how many huge players left. It's just that I noticed earlier we haven't really had a settled defence from one year to the next. I was thinking through previous Europa League campaigns, and it's all been different names. It's been so hard to build consistency, and that's Bayer Leverkusen have done that. They've recruited really well. They've got players like Jonathan Tah, who for Kyogo's first chance made an absolutely world class intervention. You'll need to see that on the replay. That it honestly was
that outstanding. The first chance?
Yeah. He just sticks the toe out. Absolute brilliant timing on it. And but yeah, it's just we're facing sides who are established European units, and we just don't have that. We just don't have that in our arsenal just now. And the real frustration of the last few seasons, I guess, is just not being able to build the same bedrock of players and have them. We've got something of a spine in the team, but we're just way off it. So yeah, I'm in two minds, because you could say the Europa League's kind of a free hit this season. It's for a lot of young players, and we do have a lot of very, very young players that we're playing tonight. It's their first exposure to European football. We take that and we build from it, but at the same time, it's just very, very basic errors we're making, and it's hard not to be frustrated. I mean, yes, there's room for optimism, but I just, I think they were clinical on the night, and really, really basic stuff cost us. It's frustrating.
Thank God for the Europa Conference League. That's all I can say, because if it wasn't for that third-tier competition, we'd be looking at a campaign that is already over. I think Betis won 3-1 tonight in Hungary against Ferencváros, so they're sitting on 6 points. Leverkusen are sitting in 6 points, and the two bottom boys have got 0 points. We're in a fight for third place now. I don't really see that changing, to be honest, because I just think we're, at the stage Celtic are at, we're a long way off a Leverkusen. Probably even a long way off a Betis, who are, for me, a level or two down from Leverkusen. I think Leverkusen are the best team in the group, and I think they showed that tonight. We'll probably come back to the game tonight, Euan, but for me now, I don't know how you feel, mate, but I feel like when that third goal went in, there was frustration, but I feel like my mind, certainly, and a lot of minds in that stadium and around the country and the world, probably turned to Sunday, because for me now, it's Ange's biggest game since he's come to the club. It's an absolutely huge game. We're at a real crossroads at this moment, because Celtic aren't getting the results. We really aren't. The results, if you looked at our last, 8 or 9 games, we've probably won 2 or 3 of them. We've had a lot of really bruising defeats, with tonight being the worst of them. Yet I still feel there's something there. There was a huge improvement tonight in the general way we played, with Kyogo and McGregor in that team. And I think Sunday, having those two players back, and Giakoumakis, who came off the bench, I think was a really important thing tonight as well. Sunday is an absolutely massive game. I think Ange realised that as well, because he took McGregor off shortly after the third goal. Kyogo came off 10, 15 minutes later. I think Ange realised that Sunday now, for me, it's a monumental match in Celtic's season. It's a match we simply have to win. No excuses. No looking at injuries anymore. No looking at playing well and conceding a slack goal and drawing the game. It's a game we have to go to Pittodrie, and we have to win that. And if we do, I genuinely think there'll be a bit of positivity going into the international break.
Big time. I mean, I think that was one of the frustrations of the last international break. It was coming off another demoralising defeat, and sort of there was a bit of navel gazing for 2 weeks in terms of what this team could be, and speculating on certain players, what kind of impact they're going to make. Sunday's do or die for certain. I still think there's a lot of time for Ange Postecoglou, but even the most patient of his supporters are going to get frustrated if we keep losing games domestically, which makes Aberdeen so important. It helps that they're in a bad run of form, but so are Livingston. So, but it's a good opportunity for Ange, and it's great that we've got Kyogo and Cal McGregor back. I don't think it's good how reliant we are on them. And I think that worries me looking forward to the January transfer window. But that's a massively important game, and it looks like we've got more squad options now. But to see that picking up a win and then going into national break with that bit of positivity, with a huge important run of games ahead of us, is going to make such a difference. And that's the message that Postecoglou's going to be telling his players.
It's a really frustrating time to be a Celtic fan right now, and I'm not just talking about the fact we've lost 4-0 at home tonight. I think in a separate point, I think it's a pretty embarrassing result for Celtic in terms of, I don't know how much stock you put in this, but the rest of Europe, in quotation marks, looking at that result tonight. A team who, is meant to be really good at home. I know the home record went a long time ago, but losing 4-0 at home to Bayer Leverkusen, I would say, is a pretty damaging result. But I don't even mean that in terms of the frustration. I just feel like this team is not getting the rewards they deserve. I feel like we're playing a lot of good football at times. I think we've got a lot of good players. I think Jota was an absolute standout tonight in a 4-0 defeat. I thought he was absolutely excellent. I think it's an absolute star there. I thought Kyogo made the team look much, much better than when Ayeti's been playing up front. You saw that, throughout the game today with the runs he made, and he'll get better, he'll get fitter as well. I think Callum McGregor's a great player. I think Carter Vickers is a great player. I thought Montgomery did good things tonight as well, and he's a player who'll only improve. But it's a team that has got so many flaws that will be exposed by a team like Leverkusen tonight. And beyond that, it'll probably be exposed by a team like Aberdeen on Sunday if we're not going to improve how we play defensively. You look at Lennon's team last season, cheap goals conceded and not taking chances up the other end. And I don't know how many times tonight we created really good chances. Yeah. Kyogo has 2 that, Listen, I love Kyogo as much as you. I love him as much as anybody watching this channel. I think he's, for me, the best thing that's happened to Celtic in a number of years. But he does miss a lot of chances. He gets in areas for chances, but he misses a lot of chances. I think Jota's a standout, but I just think we miss a lot of chances for a team, and we have to find that ruthless element, and we have to find a way of keeping clean sheets against decent standard of opposition. If those things don't happen, you can play as much nice football as you want, back to front, but if you're losing 4-0 at home, and if you're losing at Livingston and dropping points home to Dundee United, it's not going to matter. This team has to find a ruthless streak for me.
Yeah.
If they do, I honestly think we'll be looking at a really good Celtic team. It sounds daft to say that when we've lost 4-0 at home tonight, but I honestly think there is the makings of a good side there if they find that ruthless element, stop conceding daft goals and start scoring, goals.
But that's exactly it, though. That's what makes this game so hard to analyse, because, on the surface, it's an absolute scudding and we've done terribly. But at the same time, we do create the chances, and at least, there's something to hold on to. In other seasons, a night like tonight that might have demoralised us. I mean, look at the Sparta Prague games last season. Yeah. There's still the disappointment, but there's still the idea of, well, at least there's something. Because last season it was all about, well, who's going to leave now? Who's going to leave because of this? And no real vision for the future. And at least, as you say, there's just nuggets of like positivity. But again, we work so hard for those chances, though, those opportunities, and it just seems really seamless for the teams that play against us, and that's the issue.
How long has it been like that, though? How hard we have to work to score our goals, even in the Alkmaar tie. You look at how hard we had to work to score those 2 goals at home. The first goal is an unbelievable goal from Kyogo. The second goal is a really well-worked goal. Then we go over to the Netherlands, and it's 2 gifts that are handed to them. I don't know if it's personnel. I don't know if it's the way of playing, but we need to find a way to get what we deserve from these games. This isn't a joke Celtic team. I honestly think we're better than that, but tonight's a joke result. We need to find a way to get what we deserve out of games. I'm not saying we deserve to win that game tonight. I'm not even saying we deserve to draw it, but we created chances. We should not be coming off tonight looking at a 4-0 defeat.
This is exactly it. And there were some comments beforehand as well. I worry about, our reputation in Europe, but it's like kind of what you sort of hinted at earlier. You had people like Simon Rolfes, the sporting director of Bayer Leverkusen, going like, oh, we really wanted this draw. This is a good draw. You get to experience Celtic Park. I don't really like the idea that European teams are treating this as a bit of like a sort of a holiday. They get to experience, the atmosphere of Celtic Park and come away with a win. I do not like that at all. And until the kind of kamikaze defending stops, then it's just gonna. You like to think there's a long-term, plan here. There's players that are still very young and still very good, but 4-0 is a dreadful result. It's an absolutely dreadful result.
It was interesting, actually, after that dreadful result, that a lot of Celtic fans stayed and applauded the team off the park, me included. Mm-hmm. People will dress it up in different ways. A lot of people may say it's evidence of how much the standards have fallen at Celtic. A lot of other, people may look at it and see it's evidence of the fans realising where this team is at this point. And we're probably not in a position where, we're expecting to beat Bayer Leverkusen. To be honest, tonight probably turned out like a lot of Celtic fans had expected / feared. That's probably what a lot of people had feared looking, earlier in the week. Obviously, when we saw that Kyogo was starting the game, McGregor was starting, I think every Celtic fan got a boost, and we maybe felt we were onto something tonight. I certainly thought it would make a huge difference, and it did to an extent. But it's just evidence of where the Celtic team is right now. I don't think it really changes anything with regards to Ange or the way Ange should be viewed. But I think Sunday will. I think if he doesn't win on Sunday, it's going to be a really, really uncomfortable international break. Celtic fans are already really, I don't want to say turned off with the team, but they're certainly not invigorated by this team. We get a good gauge of it in the channel when we look at, things like website hits and views in the YouTube video. And, it's been clear this week that Celtic fans haven't really been invested in tonight's game. There's a lot of Celtic fans out there seemingly dreading watching the team at the moment, and dreading tonight certainly. And that's got to change, because it's a big, big swing from where we were at 6 weeks ago. We were in a really good place, and I feel like the team needs a blockbuster result to get the fans back on side. I'd hoped it would come tonight. It could still come on Sunday. If we were to go to Pittodrie, imagine we went to Pittodrie on Sunday and came away with, a 2-0 or a 3-0 win. The fans would be right back on the team, because we'd have Kyogo back, McGregor back, Giakoumakis in the team, Forrest and Julian to come back. But it has to happen on Sunday. If we drop more points on Sunday, I feel like we're at the stage where, things have to turn now. And if it doesn't happen on Sunday, we're only going to find ourselves in a bigger hole. And I need to say, so before I interrupt you, I need to say just a big thanks to Gareth for the comment there. In all honesty, the international break simply cannot come quickly enough. This season for me has always been about restoring a domestic foothold before moving on to Europe. Bright spots, but no result. We saw what happened, to the other Scottish team tonight. I obviously didn't see the game, but I heard they were pretty disappointing. This is a Celtic team for me that can still win the league, but we have to go to places like Pittodrie and Sunday and win.
Yeah, it's about building that consistency now. It's been a really, really poor run of games, and we were kind of warned about this to an extent when Ange came in. There was going to be this period of adjustment that players were going to take quite a while to get used to, the instructions, and maybe there was a bit of a false start in the sense of, we got those 3 or 4 really, really good results consecutively, keeping clean sheets, and maybe that misled us a bit. It was a bit cheeky, but. We have to get back to doing that. Aberdeen represent a really good opportunity for us. Obviously, it's going to be kind of bittersweet seeing Scott Byrne again, but
no one's talking about that either. How did you feel, just going off topic on Frimpong tonight? How did you feel watching him playing against us?
He's a Class B player, though. He's a Class B player. I wrote beforehand that stopping him is going to be a really, really... I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I wrote before saying that stopping him is going to be really, really important. And there were a few chuckles, but he was really, really good. A lot of driving runs down the right, some much better defensive work than we saw at Celtic. I think he's just improved exponentially, just across his attributes. He's just a better player than when he left.
There's a certain frustration seeing Jeremie Frimpong come into a team that comes to Celtic Park and wins 4-0.
Yeah.
It's hard to put your finger on, but you obviously want players when they leave Celtic to do well, but there's a certain frustration at him leaving us and then coming with another team and absolutely battering us. Final comments on tonight, Euan, before we round off this stream. I don't know if we've done a phone. I feel quite similar to the West Ham defeat, to be honest. That was a 4-goal defeat as well in pre-season. Obviously, at that stage, we had the friendly tag to kind of wipe away how disappointing that was. I'm getting absolutely soaked here, by the way, in case any of you don't know. It's raining very heavily out Celtic Park, probably pretty kind of symptomatic of tonight.
Yeah, says it all. It was disappointing, but... I mean, it's difficult to say because, on the one hand, there are some positives going forward, and Europe's kind of a free hit this season. It's about what we do domestically, about restoring pride, about instilling an ideology at the club that works for the future. All those things are still true. Tonight doesn't change that. But equally, the defending was so bad. It was just so amateur at times, and it's difficult to see us improving in the Europa League this season. The Ferencváros double header is absolutely crucial. Not just in terms of European stuff, because as I said, you could view that as a free hit and move along with it. But if we get a kind of second berth in the Conference League and that takes us beyond Christmas, that has ramifications long term as well. There are financial implications. There are implications in terms of squad building. So all that's still true, but it's difficult not to come away disappointed after a result like that tonight. Really, really poor in a lot of areas.
I don't know if I care much about finishing third and getting into the Conference League, to be honest. If it's a difference between, and I'm not saying right off the last 4 games of this group, you'd be daft to do that, and Ange isn't going to do that at all.
No way.
But do we really care so much this season about getting into the Conference League when you're going to play last 32? You're going to play around to meet the other teams who are already in the last 16, or would you much rather focus on, the league games following, the Thursday nights? I think that's got to be the priority for Celtic now. I hope Ange's teams come again in Europe in future years, and I genuinely believe that if we give Ange time, and if Ange finds a way to start getting results to ease the pressure a little bit, I honestly believe that we'll have nights like this in the future, that we'll be able to beat teams like Leverkusen. But for now, we're just so far off it. And it's disappointing coming away from a 4-0 defeat. But it all goes to Sunday now, Euan. We just have to win that game. It's you're always at danger of building up these games so much, but it's an absolutely huge game for me on Sunday. We have to go to Aberdeen, and if we play like we did tonight in spells, I think we'll create chances and I think we'll score goals, but that defence has to stand up as well. And if we win on Sunday, I think someone was saying in the comments earlier, if Celtic win their next few games, tonight will be a distant memory. People won't really be too bothered about getting it scudding off Bayer Leverkusen. Yes, it's frustrating, but winning domestic games and staying in touch at the top of the league and building, brick by brick, this team is for me all that matters right now. Europe is almost a bonus at the moment. Final say? I've probably asked you final say already, but I'll give you the last chance, mate.
Just get yourself dry, get yourself under some cover, and we go again. We go again for Sunday. That's all we can do now.
We're hoping to have a reaction. I think Stevie's going to join me after the game. We should be in real life, in person, which is always a good laugh. Euan, thanks so much for joining me again, mate. We'll have loads of reaction on 67hailhail.com. Thanks everyone for watching. It's been a pretty difficult night. There's no really any other way to dress it up. It just seems like Celtic are going through a phase of kind of going through bad result after bad result. But yeah, we're going to keep going as a channel. We're back tomorrow. We'll have another video, my thoughts a day later. We'll have a preview to the Aberdeen game, and then we'll have the reaction on Sunday. Thanks, everyone. Take care, and hail, hail.